Welcome back. Today we'll be making our horseradish dill creme fraiche for our Angels on Horseback with fried green tomatoes. We will start with our heavy cream. We'll add our heavy cream, 1 cup, to our stainless steel bowl. To that, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of cultured buttermilk. The cultured buttermilk will help acidulate the cream, thicken it up, and also create a nice tart sweetness to it. So I'm going to gently stir this. We're going to wrap it with plastic wrap and we'll leave it at room temperature for 24 hours. When we're done, it is slightly thickened up. It's also become a little bit tart for our sauce. To that, we need to grate up some horseradish. We'll take our horseradish and our grater. Now, if you don't have access to a fresh horseradish or a horseradish grater, you can always buy it pre-prepared at the grocery store. We take our horseradish and we're going to grate it in a circular motion. And by doing it in a circular motion, the horseradish will start climbing the sides of the horseradish itself as a very, very, very fine paste. We'll add that to our creme fraiche. And here's the rest of our horseradish, about 1 tablespoon. I will make a very quick little chop of fresh dill. A portion of a lemon into it. And we'll mix it all up. There. We have our horseradish dill creme fraiche. Now for our next portion of the dish, we're going to make our buttermilk marinade. We're going to start with our stainless steel bowl. To that, we're going to add 1 cup of buttermilk, a 1/2 cup of finely sliced red onion, our Tabasco sauce, our paprika, cayenne pepper, thyme leaves, and tarragon. We'll give this a quick stir. Now we're going to take our green tomato and slice it and add it to our marinade. We want to make these slices between 1/4 of an inch and 3/8 of an inch thick. There, now that these are sliced, we'll slide them into the marinade. We'll toss them about to get them nice and coated. And we're going to want to put these back into the refrigerator for about 1 hour. Now that these tomatoes have marinated for an hour, we're going to go ahead and dredge them. And we have our seasoned flour, our buttermilk, marinated tomatoes. We're going to pop them right in to our seasoned flour, flip them over, pat them down really nicely so we have a very nice coating of the breading on our tomatoes. Our tomatoes dredged in seasoned flour. All right, here we have our oysters. We need to shuck these. We have our oyster knife. So a little different, no sharp edges on there, anything like that. We just use this to pry the oysters open. At the back of the oyster is a hinge spot. So we're going to stick our oyster knife into that hinge and holding it gently, we're going to push down and turn it slightly. And when we do that, you can see the oyster shell opens up at the back side. We slide our knife in from the back. We cut through the muscle and take off the shell. There. We're going to remove it from the shell completely so it's nice and soft, and as you can see, our oyster is free. Now we're going to go ahead and blanch our oysters and our bacon. We're going to start with our oysters. They literally will take seconds to blanch. We just want to firm up the flesh a little bit. So I'm going to drop them in the water, and I'm going to take them right back out almost immediately. Once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and now blanch our bacon off, one piece at a time. We'll add them all. It's going to take about 15 to 20 seconds for those pieces of bacon to be blanched off. We do this to par cook the bacon, firms up the oyster, makes it much easier to roll up, and when we're cooking it, because the bacon has been par cooked, it's going to crisp up evenly by the time the oyster is perfect. Now that we've blanched our oysters and our bacon, we'll lay our bacon down here on the cutting board, and we're going to take our oysters and place an oyster on every piece of bacon. We'll go ahead and roll each one of these up. Once we have them rolled up, we'll go ahead and skewer them. I'm going to take this so that this edge right here, the skewer goes directly through it and holds it together, like so. And now our last one. And these are ready to cook. Now we're ready to cook off our bacon wrapped oysters as well as our tomatoes. We're going to start by heating a pan to medium high, add a little bit of oil to it. Now we're going to add our oysters. Now we're going to continue to cook these oysters for about 5 minutes total, but after about 1.5 to 2 minutes, we're going to lift them up, check the caramelization on the side, and if it's starting to get a really nice caramelization, we'll go ahead and add our tomatoes at that point. Once our tomatoes are added, we're going to let those go for about 1 minute, and we'll take a look and see how the caramelization is on that. Once they are perfectly caramelized, we'll go ahead and turn those over and finish them on the other side. Tomatoes are turned over. We'll let those go for just a couple, maybe a minute more, maybe 1.5 minutes, and they should be just about perfect. Now that our bacon is just about done and our tomatoes look gorgeous, we'll go ahead and take everything up and we'll start to plate. Now we're ready to plate up our angels on horseback atop fried green tomatoes. We'll start by placing a fried green tomato in the center of our plate. We'll get one of these deliciously caramelized oysters wrapped in bacon, set it on top. Take our creme fraiche. We're going to add that so that it goes onto the oyster as well as the tomato. If it spills off onto the plate, wonderful. We're going to finish the entire thing up with a sprig of dill. Here we are. I do hope to see all of you at D2 on the 23rd, not just to sample this dish, but to sample some of our other dishes like blackened catfish with watermelon relish or caramelized apples with buttermilk gelato. I so look forward to seeing you there.